Hello and welcome. Two lights in the darkness at the
Yeah.
fast track with our
Marathon.
guest, Noy Shani.
Yay.
Good morning for you, Noy, right?
It is, yeah. Thank you, Erna. Thank you, Ali. Happy to be here.
Yeah. Well, we've been having some guests lately, and we have had a couple of guests now that have overcome their hardships, their traumas. And now Noy here is someone that helps people overcome their traumas and make that next step, right? That's a very, very nutshell thing that you do.
Yes, that's right. Yeah.
Can you tell us a bit more about it? About you,
Of,
about how you got to do this?
of course, yeah. I'll try to give you the short version because I think there's quite a lot to it. But yeah, I am Noy. I'm a hypnotherapist and a consistency coach, and I help people. I work mostly with business owners, but also executives, and I help them. I help them remove any blockages that are preventing them from being where they are in their life, whether that's limiting beliefs or negative emotions, whether they know there's something like really big that's stopping them, like a certain trauma, or maybe they just feel stuck or unfulfilled, or like there's more they can get from their life. So whether that be they are procrastinating or they are just like not getting everything they want from life or from the career or business. So combination of a lot of those things, and typically they intertwined and kind of ended up the same, like
Yeah, that
one
is
leads to another, right? Yeah.
yeah, it's like we are an onion thing. When you take off a
Peel the
layer,
layers.
there's
Yeah.
there's another one. There's another one and another one. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you, Ellie, because we have to tell you, our audience, that we know you a little bit. I have done a challenge with you, but Ellie actually worked with you, right?
That's
Yes, I
right.
did.
Yeah.
And so I can vouch for Noe when I say that he is, I guess, what you would call a modern magician when it comes to transforming and revising the paradigm shifts of the negative, the past trauma moments in your life. And I should get it, but yeah, I forget to bring it. But anyway, I have this little plaque that my trauma coach gave me when I was studying with Noe. He told me whenever I felt like I was getting overwhelmed because these old like memories would just come up from nowhere. I hadn't thought about them for years, and I still had attachment to those like emotions. And so he's like, okay, just look up and find a focal point, and then come back to me when you are ready. And so my trauma coach found this sign, and it said, never stop looking up. And so I have it to this day. So Noe helped me in that sense. So he's helped me so many other ways. And I felt like I had a new lease on life. I felt like I was like 20 years later.
Yeah. So how did you get to do this kind of work, Noy?
That's a good question. I got as a result of my own breakdowns. So I was in the corporate world for a couple of years. I was not for like ages, like some people have been. So I studied a lot. I had my own, say, project work. I'm a self-made journalist from my home country, from Israel. And I was that, and I had Israel's first ever football fan website from
Really?
anybody. Yeah. For those of you in America listening, I'm talking soccer. Yeah, so between 2001 and 2013, I had Israel's first ever football fan website, and it was great. and it, evolved and had at some point 14 staff members, mostly volunteers, writing for us, and we're able to, produce nice work and some multimedia stuff like in the age before smartphones and all that. But I got into the corporate world. I did a bit of IT, worked for companies like AstraZeneca in the UK. And then I worked for a few publications doing mostly online features, mainly about sports. I did a bit of current affairs and stuff like that in the UK. And a few kind of like personal stories. I did a lot of stuff like about business, like and about people. Like I'll give you an example, a story about a British lady that produces clothes that can get in everything, and she's got factories and employing people in Egypt, and how she got to do that. So I was always looking for the different sort of stories, like the interesting
But you
focal
did go
points.
around the
Yeah.
world almost.
And yeah, no, and I had stories like all the way from Egypt. Back in the UK, I was writing stories and producing stories from people from the United States to Canada to the UK to New Zealand to Middle East, like anywhere in between.
Yeah.
And what it got me, I got into a bit more corporate environment around 2015. I was there from 2015 to 2019, and I had a couple of good years working in the sports industry, sport marketing industry. And then I had a really rough ride, and I realized that I fell alone. I fell alone because I left all. I was heavily involved in self-development in the first part of the previous decade. I even led self and professional development group seminars in London for an international
You
firm.
did.
Yeah, on a vocational basis, it wasn't my job. I
Ah,
didn't even do it for money.
yeah,
Yeah, like I'm saying I didn't do it for money because I had colleagues that did the same, and we were not paid by them. It
yeah,
was
okay.
actually, if anything, traveling and that, like, it was from on us. Yeah, but we loved what we're doing and what it delivers people, so we did that, and that was great. At some point, we felt it. I felt that got to a certain saturation point, and when I felt that, I left. But I left. I left myself completely without. I thought I'll be okay.
Yeah,
That's because I was quite highly trained, like already at the time, and indeed I was okay for a couple of years. Actually, I was okay. Okay, meaning everything was fine and dandy. I had the promotions, the like the bonuses. I walked through two of the biggest sporting event in the world, like the FIFA World Cup and the Cricket World Cup. I'm talking about
oh,
2018, 19.
that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, it was great. It was great. And then problem started, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to do, and then it all spiraled, and I fell into depression, and I had a 3 week off signed off by my doctor, and I found that the culture is not really. It was new to me as well, but I found
Mm.
that the culture is very like not supportive, and I'm not talking about 20 years ago. I'm talking about 2018, 19, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
4 years ago, the culture is not really supportive at all of stuff like that. In fact, people don't even know what to do. Like they are as clueless about mental health as I am. That's what it looked
yeah.
like. But I did expect better because management and maybe they had training, but none. Like they were like let's say less clued than I was.
But that's
you
actually
know, uh,
ridiculous, huh?
yeah, and they try to resolve it in their own way, but it just got worse and worse and worse, and the friction between both sides. At some point, me and my
Yeah.
boss, we couldn't even talk to each other. Like
Oh,
couldn't. There was nothing. So I resigned before they would act, and then they put me on garden leave, which was, I guess, the best possible outcome because I did not see that coming. Like, and at that time, I already knew I'm moving to New Zealand, and they knew
okay.
as well. So I guess that's part of the decision there. And because we knew 2 years in advance. So there's a lot of moving parts in the story, but essentially that breakdown like was, say, probably second rock bottom that I felt in my lifetime. And first one in a while, after things have been going like so well. And then I started a business. I did pretty well the first couple of years in that business. Actually, during the pandemic, initially during the first lockdowns, I did really well. And then, but because I didn't fully believe in the product and what I could do it and I could get sales and that kind of stuff, I gradually ended up like self-sabotaging it and listening to the wrong people at the wrong time, or not listening to the right person. Like basically everything was the opposite. That's how it went. I when I needed to act quick, I acted slow. When I needed to act slow, I acted quick. When I needed to turn left, I turned right. When I turned right, I turned
Yes.
left. You get the idea, right?
Oh yeah.
Um,
Oh yeah.
yeah, yeah.
It's
So
like the
I
been
think
there, done that.
yeah, like it's well too common. Now I didn't know what it's called, and like like it just felt like something is wrong. Now this also lasted about 10 months, like the first incident, like
Yeah.
which is interesting enough. But then at some point, not very long ago, less than 2 years ago, I felt like, okay, enough is enough. Like July 2021, again, not long ago, felt like, you know, I cannot live like life like that anymore. I need to do something. So I followed someone I trust and her journey. Back then, we only met each other online. I had a couple of say interest point, the fact that I had a dog and she had a lovely dog, and I've seen her traveling and stuff, and there wasn't like anything to say extravagant. It's like I wasn't looking to, and I know some people are up for it, and I'm definitely not against it. There's people that are like on the beaches everywhere. It's not really that, it's just the freedom, because I
Yeah.
knew she was in a similar industry to me before, so I just wanted that kind of lifestyle. So I basically went and did what she did. And I
Ah,
went to a Facebook profile and I put myself in a course directly. I went, like people say on the Facebook profile where they studied or what they walked,
yeah.
where they walk or where they walk. I went to a profile one day. I've known her for, I was kind of like watching in the background. And
Yeah.
one day I just went to a profile and I clicked the link and I rang that company and I said, okay, whatever it takes, like how
Put
much is
me
it?
in.
Yeah, it's like literally. And then I told her that I'm like, oh yeah, I'm doing this, like, and she's like, oh my god, and yeah, like, so since then we met a couple of times because she's from around here. So yeah, but essentially two big breakdowns to sum
Yeah.
it all up, two big breakdowns in fairly quick succession, both of them lasting for almost a whole year. Both of them, if one is 2018, 19, and then the other one, I just like knew, okay, I cannot keep going like that. I'd have, 2 good years, maybe. Not even, I'm not even sure if there was 2 years in between.
Yeah.
And then really, really crappy 10 months. Like I cannot keep going like that. There's got, there's got to be a change. Like, so that was when I came back to self-development for the very first time in 5 years, because I was
Yeah.
completely out of it because I thought I could do everything by myself.
That's,
Hindsight is a wonderful thing, but that's probably one of my biggest mistakes that I've left. I've left it completely because I thought I could, and for a couple of years I was doing that. So,
yeah.
but then when the shit hit the fan, as they say, so
Yeah.
uh,
But
yeah,
that's a really good point that you say that I didn't ask for help. I just tried to do it alone and it doesn't work. Yeah, in the beginning it might work, but on the long run,
yeah. In
you're
the beginning, I
screwed.
didn't feel like I needed help, and I guess that's okay. I guess many people feel like that
Yeah.
when you the biggest danger is that lull, is like that void. So
Yeah.
like that if you learn the hard way, let's say that, and people I think understand that intellectually, that you you are either in an intensive environment or learning a lot, and then if you stop, you will drop.
Yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
necessarily you lose everything,
Yeah.
but depending on how long you'll be out. So people are sometimes asking me, okay, for how long I will need to be like with someone. Like, look, it's entirely up to you. Like I can only tell you my story. Like,
Yeah.
so I've now since actually committed, like there's not going to be like willingly, there will not be a single day in my lifetime that I will not be in coaching or mentorship like now until I'm dead.
Yeah.
That's what I've decided. Like after I've gone through that, yeah,
Yeah.
because you can
Yeah.
always level up, you can always step into the next level, or even if you keep stuff, let's say, even if you kept something going at the same rate, which you wouldn't, because you always either grow or shrink. So that's alone enough just to keep yourself in some kind of frame or some kind of community like that. So
Yeah, exactly.
never again, never again. So, yeah,
But that's a good commitment, right?
Yeah. So yeah,
yeah. Thank you.
and
Yeah,
you have such a passion for it, Noe. And so that's a big thing, is knowing your passion and then just running with it. And like you said, staying with it, finding your niche. That is hard. I'm just finding mine, and I am a late bloomer. And so I just want to put out there that if, you're getting up there in years and you're like, oh gosh, look, like, is it ever gonna, be my turn to find out what I want to do in life? Yeah, it'll come. And don't worry that you're behind, because it's like, it's all a learning process.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and you're never too old, eh? Never too old to learn.
No.
Absolutely. And the funny thing for me, if you understood that kind of like between the lines, I actually, when I did that and I signed myself to do what I was doing, I did not care what methodology it was. I did not care about the certification. I did not even, well, actually, I probably was blind to it, to be honest. Like, I probably heard there's like, exam or something like at the end, but I came to day one because I had a 7 week gap between when I made the decision and until the course was. So it wasn't the next day. In that
Yeah.
7 weeks, I stopped everything that I was doing that wasn't working. I like removed people, from social media that like were like not necessarily because of them or because of me. I
Yeah.
I like I stopped pretending and trying like to post about the things that I wasn't. Any subscription or anything that like was relevant, not so much just because of money, maybe because of the headspace. I removed that, and I was actually really, really bored. In those 7 weeks, there was a period of time that I was playing on my phone once, like 10 hours, like in
Oh,
one of those casino apps, not for
yeah,
money,
yeah,
like one of those like bingo stuff, because I had no idea what to do with myself because I was in this transition. But then like because I had 7 weeks, so that's like probably
yeah.
too long to be on one app and stuff. It sounds really funny. Yeah, I did a Bob Proctor challenge, like I caught 4 of the 5 days
Ah,
because I
yeah,
found about it late, and that was closer to the time when my course was, and that so I kind of went back to it, but I needed to cleanse everything that wasn't good and wasn't working, so I can have the headspace to actually think properly.
yeah. And to get
So
something
it
new
was an
going.
interesting, yeah, and I had no intention to become a coach. I had no intention to become a hypnotherapist. I just wanted to help myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, actually, that's the best way, yeah. If you want to help yourself, then all of a sudden you realize, okay, but this is something that I can help someone else with as well. The freedom that you gained for yourself, you want to give to someone else, right? So are you combining multiple yeah, how would you call it? Methodologies or
Methodology, modalities, yeah.
modalities? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I'm combining a few of them together.
Yeah.
So around hypnosis, around neuro-linguistic programming, timeline therapy, some Eastern practices like Hawaiian Huna practices, all into one
Oh,
pretty much. Yeah, yeah.
that's cool.
Uh, yeah, all combined into some even in the same routines, like
Yeah.
so few things that I'm doing combined literally all of them or three of these four pretty much like in say one exercise or one routine or one something I'm doing with someone. So but
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm combining all of those because I was blown away. I had a first-hand experience already after that program that I was on initially. That was 7 days, and just to set the tone straight, in the first 18 or so months, I've done over 100 days of like learning and teaching and seminars. That means that over 3 months of the last 18 or so months, I've been either in a course myself or supporting a course or supporting someone else to get certified. And this is aside from being with clients like Alli and stuff. So like,
Yeah.
and I'm not saying it to brag. I'm saying it, you need to throw yourself in. If someone
Yeah.
is just, if someone thinking that just doing a 7-day, for example, program, and if you are not immersing yourself any further in one way, either helping yourself, helping clients, helping family, or learning more, expanding, then it's not going to be as useful, right? Because you've done
Yeah,
7 days in the sea of days. So yeah, but I had a first-hand experience of that, and I saw how powerful it is. And then when it hits me, it's like, that's what I want, to do for the rest of my life.
Nice, huh?
That's awesome. I'm glad too. And so, yes, and Noe, you mentioned a challenge, and you have a challenge coming up. Would you like to tell us about it?
Yeah, sure. Certainly, I'm running. So I'm working a lot with people that want to get rid, reduce, or completely, completely remove, eliminate procrastination. So for some people, procrastination, they use it by that word. For others, they just have this cloudiness of mind or something like that, because procrastination is it's a very sneaky thing. Not a lot of people actually call it by that name. Sometimes it's just like the fear of success or the fear of failure. There's a lot of like fears that kind of create that behavior of not taking action effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm running the 5-day procrastination buster challenge, and it's coming. So depending, of course, when people are hearing this, so it's coming from between the 23rd and the 27th of April if you are in the United States, Canada, or the UK. If you are in Europe or in Australia or in New Zealand, that is the 24th to the 28th of April. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
So and just to set it, as I give you that, so in Eastern Standard Time, like New York, that would be 6:30 p.m. on April 23rd to April 27th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern.
Nice. Nice.
Awesome. Yeah, and I will see you in there. And so also, Noy, you help with addictions. And how else can people benefit from your challenge or your coaching?
Yeah, good question. The challenge will help people when it comes to addiction. The challenge will help people to believe more about themselves and feel better about themselves. The challenge itself for addictions, it will probably not be sufficient on its own, right? Like to get, especially if we're talking about like say alcohol or drug or gambling or stuff like that. For that, it's what I do with people is I run them through a program that has a very defined structure that we go through and find out the drivers, what had those people initially start that behavior, whether that's historical, could be trauma. Like, a lot of people start certain habits because they didn't get something in their childhood. Like, some people start drinking well, most people start drinking or smoking or gambling and stuff like that to escape something. What are they
Mhm.
escaping? There's some commonalities, but could be abuse, could be feeling bad about themselves, could be a million and one things. But those are the few, say, common things that a lot of time come up. So finding the root cause and then eliminating it at the root cause level, so the whole pattern actually goes as if it was never there, and then topping it up with hypnosis so they have that positive reinforcement the day to day. Whether that's smoking is actually one of the easiest ones to get rid of, whereas, and I'm sure Erna will know what I'm talking about, whereas other ones are a bit
Yeah.
more deeper rooted, and to actually guarantee that they go like at that level that they will not come back, it takes a bit more work, but it's certainly worth it. Certainly
Yeah.
like worth going through the process and finding what that thing is and then removing it from your system. I hope it makes sense. And then
It does
and
for me.
then once
Yeah.
you got rid of everything that's not desirable, then you have space, like a black canvas, so to speak,
Yeah.
that you can actually do something with. Before that, you are like but like I don't know how to stop like drinking, you know, two bottles of wine every night, or like beer like all day long, or like smoking, you know, pot, or whatever that may be, right?
Yeah.
And that's how people, you know, lose themselves, because yeah,
Yeah.
that
And
process takes you through from finding out to removing it completely. And
Isn't that a cool job, actually? Yeah. Don't you think?
yeah,
We have a cool job, Noy.
love it, love it.
and so too, Noy, that could be also a conditioning thing too, where it's like in the home. So the it's usually a dysfunctional home, and so the child's around that, sees that, like, oh, okay, but to the child it's not dysfunctional, it's a normal thing. So then they pick up on that and then they take that on. Sometimes they reject it, say, I don't want anything to do with it, and never have a drink or a smoke or whatever. So it's a little bit of that too as well, right, Noy?
Yes, yeah, the environment, absolutely. The
Mhm.
environment is a massive um, massive pull, but both ways for anything actually.
Yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
hang long enough in the wrong environment and you'll feel it.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You become it,
Yeah.
and
Right.
vice versa. Hang long enough in a good environment, or people that are doing better than you, then you become them
Yeah.
eventually.
Yeah.
Right.
Absolutely. So, where can people find you the best?
Good question. So they can find me on Instagram simply by my name. So it's if people are seeing here, so I don't know if you put caption on that. So it's simply
Yeah.
Noy,
Yeah.
so NOYSHANI. So that's me on Instagram. Likewise on Facebook, there's more of me that they can get, including a free group that I'm running, that has all sort of like tips and like um, guides and things about the unconscious mind and about removing procrastination or limiting beliefs. And like there's a whole like set of like tools and techniques there that people can go through and, you know, do using their own time. So on Facebook, likewise. So if they look up my name, Noy Shani, they will be able to find, there will not be too many people with the same name. So they will see the consistency coach, and they will see bus procrastination at the core, etc., etc. So and a banner that lead into my group, so they will know that's me. So
Yes,
those are the two
definitely.
best way
That's him.
to,
And
yeah.
you have a signature, really cute helper.
Yes, I was going to
Oh
mention her.
yes, he's in the other room now. Yeah,
Oh,
Aw, aw.
yeah.
So yes, and another thing
Eden.
that is kind of your brand that no one else has is Life Unlocked. So if you see a post of yours, it'll be Life Unlocked, and
Yes.
then you have usually wearing the purple shirt. That's usually your another brand that you do. And
When doing hypnosis, that's right. Yeah, yeah.
yep,
Uh,
yep.
oh, you have your sort of, well, would you say your lucky shirt, or is more like
it's not a lucky shirt. It's I don't know the full explanation about that, to be honest. I just took it as I took it as is, as a,
yeah,
let's say,
yeah, yeah.
advice, or uh a rule of thumb, or just something that would be like, okay, if he said that, he must know what he's
Then
talking
it's
about.
good.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, exactly. So Milton Erickson, that in the work of hypnosis and
Uh-huh.
NLP
Yeah.
is the father of a lot of like those modalities. So one of the things that he used to say that all hypnotherapists wear purple, or a hypnotherapist should wear purple, either or, however he put that. So that's what he said, not what I said.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
why should I take his word? Well, those of you that don't know what I'm talking about, so he was actually he's no longer with us, but for 60 years he saw patients for 10 hours a day, 7 days a week. 60 years.
Unbelievable,
He
huh?
knew no, he there's no person in the universe before and after, like, and name all the gurus and Darren Browns and that, like, and you know, they're great, and of course, like, all, you know, myself including, you know, but in terms of like knowing people and reading people and walking, I don't think there's a single person in the world
Mm.
like that. or not one that I know of that achieved
Okay.
that feat. Yeah, so he
I
could.
know
Yeah,
what I'm going to do next
yeah.
time.
We're people.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
follow
Yeah.
your lead.
yeah.
And
Cool.
then the famous word that you use, which we'll use because we have really enjoyed having you here, Noy, and
Yeah.
this has
Thank you.
been amazing. So
Super thanks.
yes.
Thank you
Mhm.
for having me.
Yes. And so I know you got a busy schedule, and so we'll let you go. But thanks again, and we'll see you again, to hopefully sometime on the fast track, Noy.
Thank you so much, and see you again, guys. See ya. Have
See
a good one.
you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Bye.
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 Bye.